Hello, my name is Michael Ross, and I will be presenting to you today a career interview of a restaurateur. So, first, I'd like you to imagine walking into a restaurant where the smell of garlic and barbecue fills the air, kitchen buzzing with movement, and every plate telling a story. Behind that experience is someone juggling creativity, leadership, and relentless hard work, the restaurant owner. So, general topics of discussion that I'll be going over today is going to be my career interview with Mr. Ronnie Cajas, the career path and opportunities and everything related to those, along with things I discovered between the interview and doing some independent research. So, my interview with Mr. Ronnie Cajas. So, he's the owner and executive chef of Street Eats and Urban Salt. He went to San Diego Culinary Institute in 2010, worked in a handful of restaurants in the San Diego area after he graduated, and then moved back to San Angelo in 2012. From 2012 to 2020, he worked in several restaurants here in town. And then in 2020, he opened up Street Eats. And the community has been better off for it ever since. So on a typical day, he is doing inventory checks because part of his ongoing business now, which it ties into managing operations as well, is Street Eats catering. So he needs to make sure that for any catering events, he can feed 30 to about 700 people, depending on the event. Prepping meals to include quality insurance. So that is one of his biggest drivers, is making sure that everybody is receiving quality meals for or from his restaurants. And then, as I stated, managing operations, so that it's both the operations of the Street Eats catering, the Street Eats restaurant itself, and Urban Salt, along with the finances to balance all of those things. His focus includes creativity, which can be seen in his menus, community connection, so giving back when he's able to, taking feedback and providing the input that the community wants from his restaurants, and resiliency. Resiliency being one of the bigger ones here, because not every day as a restaurant owner is going to be positive. There will be slow days, there will be hard days. And it just has to be one of those things where you have to persevere and push through. So after my interview with Mr. Ronnie, I started doing independent research for behind the scenes of being a restaurateur. Average salary, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, tends to be about just shy of $79,000 a year. Now, that varies greatly depending upon the area that you live in, the size of the restaurant, competition in the area. It affects those numbers. Recommended majors for going in being a restaurateur would be business administration and culinary arts. Hospitality management is another that is highly preferred. Career options, as stated here, especially with the presentation, restaurant owner, but marketing, HR roles with those degrees is also very relevant. Daily task. Touched on a little bit of what Mr. Ronnie does on the day-to-day, but general daily task for a restaurateur is going to be opening and closing, health inspections, problem solving, team leadership skills, and promotion and strategy. So, challenges. Challenges, this is obviously not an all-inclusive list, but some of the major ones. You're looking at very long hours. For some restaurants, it all just depends on how you operate your restaurant, but you could look at upwards of 18 plus hour days. Financial risk is being the owner of all the risk falls onto your shoulders. You're not the only person that suffers if the restaurant does not succeed, as everybody who works for you then as well. But ultimately, the financial risk falls upon your shoulders. And then leadership demands. Owning a restaurant and running it require great leadership capabilities. They are very much in demand with being able to lead people and manage people at the same time. So, lessons learned from research and reality to include the interview with Mr. Ronnie. So, insight number one was it's going to be the high startup cost and intense competition This information came from the National Restaurant Association annual report. Insight number 2 was the constantly changing consumer preferences. It might have been in high demand 6 months ago, but it's not today. So you have to be able to modify your menus and meet the demands for the customers, or the restaurant will not succeed. And then step in the right direction. So saving for capital to open up a restaurant is important. Understanding legal requirements for owning a restaurant, and then customer trends, all very important things needed. And then, of course, you have the final course here, or my conclusion. So the interview and research provided gave me a deep look into the role of being a restaurateur, requiring the creativity, strategy, and resilience needed. And even though owning a restaurant is a very intense career path, it seems to be very rewarding. Thank you.